Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And man, oh man, do we got a lot to talk about. I just watched this little presser that President Trump had with Benjamin Netanyahu, which was absolutely amazing. I'm going to play a little bit of it, but I want to talk about it. You know, what's been going on in these last 4 years with this corrupt, senile, old coot running the country, with a staff of anti-Semites and weirdos and gangsters running the day-to-day operations. Israel has been left out on its own to survive. And, you know, here you have Israel under major attack. That attack, barbaric. I mean, it's like medieval, maybe even earlier than medieval, like prehistoric, like barbarian attack on Israel, with the kidnapping, the rapes, the murders, and everything that went on there. And with the Biden regime, they were actually treating these barbarians that did these terrible things, okay, with that invasion of Israel at the music festival. They acted as if that Hamas has legitimate grievances. That's insane. It's just stupid. I mean, does you know, that's like saying after 9/11, Al Qaeda have grievances that are legit against the United States. I mean, this is insane. You know, you talk about blaming the victim here. And if Donald Trump had not been reelected, and anyone, even another Republican, you know, these idiots that were running, but if the Democrats would have won this election, who knows how many more Israelis would have been killed. And President Trump, he's got this. He's doing things in ways that it's hard to imagine it's happening. I mean, everything that he's been doing, he's done so much in the last 15 days of his second term that it's hard to even sit down and talk about what he's doing, because he's doing so much, right? We don't even have time to process something before he does something else great and miraculous and historic. But our alliance with Israel is back. It is strong. You know, President Trump said today, let me pull this up. This was, I'm going to play some of this audio. He was signing executive orders in the White House today. And we all know that the Iranians, they've been trying to kill him. They've been trying to kill him, and he's pretty pissed off about Iran trying to kill him. Wouldn't you be? I'm upset that they were trying to do it. And he said something. I'm going to play this. This is him talking about Iran being after him. I want to play this because President Trump dropped something that was major breaking news. And I don't know if the media are just in shell shock, if there's so much going on they can't keep up, but he dropped something massive, and the media, it's like they didn't even hear it, but it's so shocking. Listen, this is Trump talking about Iran. This is in the Oval Office today when he was signing the executive orders.
Not have a nuclear weapon. We don't want to be tough on Iran. We don't want to be tough on anybody, but they just can't have a nuclear weapon.
How, Mr. President, are you going to engage in conversations with your counterpart in Iran?
I would.
Do you want to block the sale of Iranian oil to other nations?
Well, we have the right to do that, and that's what I did before, and they had no money. They wouldn't have had the money for Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else. It could have been solved. This thing, it just...
Listen to this.
If things went the way they should have, this would have been over long ago, but it's not over.
How close do you think Iran is to developing a nuclear weapon?
I think they're close. They're too close. But again, you could go back 4 years. I would have said they would have had it during this intervening period. But they're pretty close, Peter.
And why say you're unhappy to sign it if it's Iran and their proxies who threaten to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani?
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated.
You hear that? I'll rewind a little bit and play the rest. He said that he's taught. This is when President Trump was signing executive orders today, and they asked him, "What if they try to kill you again?" And he said they would be obliterated. Iran would be obliterated. He says, "I've left instructions to obliterate them if they make an attempt on me or get me." And I guess he's incapacitated or something. That is huge news. And when he said it, I was like, whoa. You ever heard anything like that? It's amazing. I mean, I agree with everything he says, but the press, it's like it didn't even sink in. And when this was over, I turned on the news. I thought for sure that the media would just be blowing up about this statement, and they didn't even mention it.
And not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That'd be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left.
Wow.
And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why, lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader, or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration of a state that did it. That would include Iran. So I'm signing this, and it's a very powerful document, but hopefully we're not going to have to use it.
Mr. President, if the Prime Minister today were to ask your help in...
Okay, then he goes on to some other things. But this is really amazing, because we know that the Iranians have been after him since he took out Soleimani. And President Trump said he has left instructions to obliterate Iran if they take him out or he's incapacitated. And the fact that he said that, it's part of the record now. It's part of the public record. That means if these monsters do anything, we all know that Trump left instructions for J.D. Vance to obliterate them, and everybody would be demanding that immediately. And that was not said by accident. Okay. He said he wanted that out there on the record. He wanted Iran to hear it. He wanted the world to hear it, and he wanted the American people to hear it. Yeah, that is. But even with all of that, he said, they asked him, "Would you be willing to meet with your counterpart in Iran?" He said, "Yes." You know, all this talk, with Jimmy Carter with the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave us the Islamic Republic of Iran. Everything was okay over there until Jimmy Carter came along. Now, Netanyahu at the White House, I want to get to some of this, because this is just a big deal, okay? I mean, Iran attacked Israel at the music festival. Come on. Hamas is a front group, backed by Iran. God-awful, medieval, barbaric attack, like something, it's just hard to believe something like that happens in the modern world. The rapes and murders, the prisoners that they took, it's just disgusting. And I was talking at the beginning of this stream, I said when, because of Biden and these anti-Semites and weirdos and corrupt gangsters that have been running the country, when Hamas, which of course is Iran, did this god-awful attack on Israel in a way that's never happened in the modern era. This is like nuts. This is like the barbarian hordes from the north coming down to Rome. The White House's position under Biden and the media's position, and a lot of people in this country like Candace Owens, a lot of these anti-Semites out there, that they act as if Hamas has legitimate grievances with Israel. They don't have any legitimate grievances with Israel. President Trump, I think it was yesterday? He was sitting at his desk, and he gave this great example. He said, the big desk, the Resolute desk, he says, this is the Middle East. And then he took the tip of his pen, he says, this is Israel, and the rest of this is the Middle East. And they all doing it over this? Come on. They just hate Jews, okay? They just hate Jews. That's it. So here's Netanyahu sitting down next to President Trump at the White House a few minutes ago.
Joe Biden and Donald Trump take credit for the hostage and ceasefire deal. Who do you think deserves more credit?
I think President Trump added with great force and powerful leadership to this effort. I appreciate it. He sent a very good emissary. He's helped it along. And, I'll just tell you, I'm happy that they're here. And I'm sure the president is happy that they're here. And I would think that's about enough.
Yeah. Kids are playing baseball in the street here, so if you hear a little noise in the background, neighborhood kids baseball game. Luckily, they're playing baseball in the street, not where the next street, like the cross street with mine, so there's no way the ball's going to hit my car. If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. Here's President Trump.
Everybody's demanding one thing. You know what it is? Peace. We want peace. We want people to stop being killed. But everybody's demanding one thing. Very simple, peace. And he wants peace also.
Yeah, that's it. They just, they want peace. And, and this really amazing idea of relocating all of the Palestinians out of Gaza to one of the Muslim countries, that's, who would ever think of something like that? And, during this press event at the White House, you could hear the Muslim reporters were freaking out in the background. But it's their home. Do you hear all that stuff? Sorry. No, it's not. That attack on October 7th was sick, twisted, barbaric, and that cannot be allowed. And I'll tell you, the anti-Semitism that was spreading in this country over the last year and a half since that god-awful incident on October 7th, I was in shock. I've talked a lot about the anti-Semitism from Candace Owens. I mean, I've never seen anti-Semitism at the level that it's at in this country in my lifetime. I thought that stuff was all gone, but Biden brought it back, and boy, oh boy, it was growing and growing and growing. Here's President Trump again.
When I left, we had no problem. There was no Ukraine and Russia fighting. There was no October 7th. There was nothing. And some very poor leadership led to a lot of problems and a lot of death. Mm-hmm. And it's a shame, but we'll put it out. We'll put out the fires. We have a lot of fires, but we'll put them out.
Yeah. So what Trump's saying is all these people are dead because of Biden and his incompetence. And the world just went crazy because the United States was not there to keep things under control, which is what we are. I mean, sadly, we are the world's policeman. I saw something that Kash Patel had posted. This was no, it's not Kash Patel. It's Kash Patel News. It's not the official Kash Patel. It's the Kash Patel News X account. And I saw this post. Rod Blagojevich retweeted it, and I saw it from Rod Blagojevich's retweet, and it's insane. It's about Chuck Schumer. Listen to this. Listen to this. Chuck Schumer has never held a job in the private sector. In fact, his first job. Let me look this up. What was your first job? My first job was mowing lawns. I worked at a marina. I worked at a grocery store when I was a kid. What was your first job? When he graduated college, his first job out of law school in 1974, he ran for and was elected to the New York State Assembly. Okay? Think about that. Yeah, taught guitar, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, people have all kinds of jobs, right? Not Chuck Schumer. Listen to this. This blew my mind, and you look up his bio, it's true. Chuck Schumer has never held a job in the private sector, and yet his net worth is $81 million. $81 million. How does a guy who's worked his entire life for the government amass a fortune of $81 million? And, I'm curious about that because I'd like to know his secret. Because I'm not worth $81 million, are you? Maybe he could tell us. I wonder if USAID has anything to do with it. What do you think? That's nuts. How's that possible? $81 million. Yeah. That's a lot of freaking money for a guy that's worked for the government his whole life. It's just like Letitia James. She's never worked in the private sector, and she's a millionaire too. Investments, you got to have the money to. How much money would you have to have? What did he do? Buy Bitcoin the first day it was on the market? What are you telling me? Come on. What kind of investment is that? I'm curious. I'd like to know. I'd love someone to ask him how he amassed a net worth of $81 million. Wouldn't you? I think so. I think the American people would like to know that too, as he's sitting around always calling Trump's integrity. And we know how Trump made his money. Real estate, casinos, resorts, golf courses, television, show, The Apprentice. Yeah. He made $81 million. Investments. You have to have a lot of money to invest in real estate and stocks, and have 100% accuracy in your investments to start with nothing and get up to $81 million. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not legit, but aren't you curious? He should write a book about how to get rich, because he knows some secret that I don't know. How many of you are worth $81 million? Yeah, exactly. When he was elected to the state senate in 1974, they were probably making like, I don't know, let me see. New York State Assembly salary 1974. Let me see if I can get that. No, I see what they make now. Now they make $142,000 a year. But what did they make in 1974? It doesn't say. That's today. They make $142,000 a year now. It probably was like $5,000 a year back in 74, But, he must have bought Amazon before any of us heard of it. He must have bought Apple back in the 70s. He must have bought Microsoft back in the 70s. He must have bought Bitcoin on day one. It's not a conspiracy. It's true. He's worth a man who's worked for the government his entire life is worth $81 million. I don't know. Maybe the genius team of teenagers that Elon has put together at Doge can find that out. Right? Exactly. Now, things in the country, yeah, I know. Things in the country are going so incredibly well. Have you seen our great Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, at the southern border visiting the troops? Pete Hegseth, he said today that in the month of December, the United States Army had their best recruiting month in 12 years. In January, the Army had their best recruiting number in 15 years. Isn't that something? That's absolutely amazing. It's because Trump's back and Pete Hegseth is back. Now, I'm not sure how clear this will be. This is really interesting. This is Pete Hegseth. He's with Lawrence Jones and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. They're in an Army helicopter, military helicopter, flying over the southern border, inspecting the U.S. troops that are, for the first time, like, I don't know, since the Civil War or something, protecting the American borders. Here, listen.
Mr. Secretary, how the meetings been so far? As you've been talking with your command staff about getting this border secure, are they ready? Do they have the tools necessary already?
It's been incredible to watch the military respond to the lawful orders of the Commander-in-Chief. There's been no hesitation. There's been full integration, belief in the mission. Our generation has spent 20 years guarding other people's borders while watching an invasion of our own. And the great people, the Border Patrol, and DHS, and ICE have done the best they can. But nobody can bring assets to bear like the Defense Department. Nobody.
The military is
Okay, so what Pete, I think you could hear that, but I'll repeat it anyway. And I'm sure some troll will claim they couldn't understand what he said, but with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, it must be kind of funny for Lawrence Jones because Pete Hegseth was the Fox and Friends weekend guy. Lawrence Jones is on Fox and Friends weekdays. So, you know, a few weeks ago on the totem pole, Lawrence Jones was higher in rank than Pete Hegseth because he was just the weekend Fox and Friends guy. He's the weekday guy. And now he's calling him Mr. Secretary, flying around in a military helicopter. But Pete Hegseth said the generation that's in the military now, that's on the border, he said for 20 years this generation has been protecting other people's borders, Iraq, Afghanistan, right, Ukraine, you name it. And now they're getting to protect our own border. You know, they're protecting all these other borders, the border sovereignty of this country, the border sovereignty of that country, while we're being invaded both from all our borders, from the south, from the north, and from the sea. You know, here in South Florida, it's very common to see a story of a boat washing ashore with illegals from the Bahamas or something. Happens all the time. And to have our military at the southern border, why the hell haven't they been there for the last 20 years? I mean, that's duty number one, is to protect the border of the United States. And for the first time, they're getting to do that. Isn't that, it's absolutely amazing when you think about it. And, you know, the 15 days that we're in so far of President Trump's second term is just, it's amazing. You know, I was watching him earlier today at the Resolute desk and signing those orders and taking those questions, and it just, I told my wife, I said, this is just absolute amazing. I can't believe after everything he's been through, everything we've been through, all the suffering in the country, all the crap they pulled, and he's president again. It's freaking insane. It's freaking insane. I know, it's amazing. It's beautiful. And this shutting down of USAID, this is something, okay? Because now we know this is how they do everything. And, you know, I was talking this morning, well, let me play this. This is Jamie Raskin led a team with Ilhan Omar yesterday and a group of USAID employees. I guess this was an insurrection because they were trying to break into the building and get these people back to work, even though President Trump shut them down.
Elon Musk, you didn't create U.S. aid. The United States Congress did for the American people. And just like Elon Musk did not create U.S. aid, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. Ooh. We're going to stop him.
Really? He's going to stop him. Really?
Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury, but you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that under Article 1 of the Constitution. And just like the president who is elected to something cannot impound the money of the people, we don't have a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk. And that's going to become real clear.
Okay, so Elon Musk retweeted that video, right? And Elon wrote this. He says, what Raskin actually means is that he wants his kickbacks and bribes to continue. And when President Trump, he was in the Oval Office today and was, they were asking him about the U.S. aid, and he was talking about who's getting the kickbacks, And I got a list here that Rapid Response 47, which you should follow on X. Rapid Response 47 is the official X account of the Trump White House, okay, apart from the government one. And they have a list of some of the stuff U.S. aid has been paying for, okay? $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, inclusion in Serbia's workplace, $70,000 for the production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $2.5 million for EVs in Vietnam, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a trans comic book in Peru, $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. And there's a whole bunch of these things. Hundreds of thousands of meals to Al-Qaeda fighters in Syria. Personalized contraceptive, birth control devices in developing countries. Hundreds of millions of dollars to fund irrigation canals and farming equipment and fertilizer used to support the cultivation of poppy and heroin production in Afghanistan. It goes on. I think that most of these things they didn't pay for. I think this is, I was talking about this morning. William, $2 super chat. Thank you, sir, for that. Democrats, we don't, exactly. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, by the way. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I think that's what they put on the books, right? The $32,000 for a trans comic book in Peru. I don't think they paid that much money for a transgender comic book in Peru. There may not even be a comic book they paid for in Peru. But they have to put something on the books, and then the check gets sent out to whoever the corrupt official is or organization that's getting the money. It's a big money laundering operation. It's the whole, we're finding out that U.S. aid is how the whole federal government officials are paid off, and their friends and others with the NGOs and everything. But they have to have something on the books. So they put all this crap on the books, and who knows where the money's really going. But Elon's team of young geniuses will find out as they do a forensic accounting. And I would imagine, and the reason there's such an overdone thing so far as transgender things is because that was the in vogue thing in the last 4 years, was trans stuff. And U.S. aid, everybody knows this now, but was started by President Kennedy through executive order. If you went back in time, from, and it's mostly Democrat stuff that it's done. You go back in time to Democrat, and you'll probably find that all the funding is listed like this to whatever the in vogue issue is at the time. Like the last 4 years, transgender stuff has been the big Democrat cause celeb. If you went back, this is just my guess, but if you went back to what U.S. aid was paying when Obama was president, it's probably a bunch of climate change bullshit, okay? Because that was the big thing when he was president. If you go back to when Bill Clinton was president, U.S. aid was probably all going to, what was his big thing? Gun control. He was big into gun control. And Jimmy Carter, I don't know, but if you went back in time, that's what you would find. They have to have something on the books, and they'll figure it out. Elon Musk is very smart, and this team of young geniuses he has, they already know a lot more than we know, and they're finding stuff out pretty quick too. But Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, I tell you, here in Florida, we're awesome. Florida, we've got the President, we got the Secretary of State. Tomorrow, we're going to have Pam Bondi. They're going to vote on, is it going to be tomorrow they vote on Bondi? We're going to have the Attorney General. And I think Kash Patel lives in Florida, the FBI Director. I mean, Florida, we're running the country. But Marco Rubio, U.S. aid is now under the State Department. And it came out today that Marco Rubio has the State Department beginning a process of recalling all the U.S. aid workers worldwide back home. This is pretty wild stuff. Now, another thing that President Trump's doing is he's sending a lot of these illegals down to Guantanamo Bay. And I haven't heard any of the civil libertarians even griping about this. When they were sending the Al-Qaeda terrorists that knocked down the damn buildings at Guantanamo Bay, the ACLU and these civil libertarians were all over the place having meltdowns. But with these illegals, I haven't heard a whisper from them. But here, this is President Trump today when he was signing the executive orders in the Oval Office, and he was talking about Gitmo.
On Guantanamo Bay, is there enough space there to accommodate?
There's a lot of space to accommodate a lot of people, yeah, so we're going to use it.
Can you talk a little bit
We
more
haven't,
about
it's
why?
already up. We have it for nothing. But we can do less expensive and even more secure We've had other countries come to us saying, we would love to do that. We would love to take your criminals and we'll maintain that. We'll be their jail. And I'm only talking for the most severe cases. Like, I watched that guy on tape pushing the man into the subway last week. That man that did that is a real bad guy. Many, many arrests. And do you think you're going to convince him someday to be good and a wonderful citizen for our country? It's never going to happen. I want to get those people out. I'd love to get them out along with the illegal migrants. The migrants are rough, but we have some bad ones too. I'd like to get them out. It would be all subject to the laws of our land, and we're looking at that to see if we can do it.
Yeah, and of course, a whole bunch of them are going to be going to El Salvador. Now, any of you going to be watching the Super Bowl? I'll be asleep before the Super Bowl is. I might make it to halftime. I'm not really interested in the Super Bowl. I'm interested in important stuff in life, like President Trump saving America and Western civilization. But I can't believe they have this on the end zones. But the NFL has had printed on the end zones, and they're removing it for the Super Bowl. And President Trump, they say he's going to the Super Bowl, and I was shocked. He'll be the first president to go to a Super Bowl. I'm surprised no president has gone to the Super Bowl. But in the end zones, they have written out there, end racism. I'm in shock. And they're removing the end racism from the end zones. I mean, here you got, these millionaires who think they're slaves. That's, end racism. Oh, my goodness. They should replace it with MAGA. Put MAGA on the end zones. The crowd would go nuts if everybody came in and it said MAGA on the end zones. Oh, my goodness. That would be amazing. Oh, I wanted to mention this. I'd forgotten about this because I remember we talked about this a lot way back in the Obama years, and it's come up again. Now, let me ask you this in the chat. This is give me a yes or a no on this. A yes or a no. Does it look to you like U.S. aid is a CIA front company, or to make it more general, a deep state front company? It looks that way to me, doesn't it to you, when we're finding out everything about it? Is USA a deep state CIA front? Yeah, of course, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Yeah, it's obvious, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Well, this is something I'd forgotten about because I remember we talked about this back when Obama was president, but I'd forgotten about it, but it's come up again because U.S. aid is in this. Do you know that his mother, Ann Dunham, is Obama's mother? Do you know that she was a consultant and worked for U.S. aid? His mother was a U.S. aid worker. So does that mean that Obama's mother was CIA? She had an official job, consultant on international development. So do you think, since Obama's mother was a U.S. aid worker, and that seems like a pretty prestigious position, consultant on international development, that seems like a pretty influential kind of important job, do you think that Obama's mother was deep state? Since now we find out she had this fancy job with U.S. aid. And does that mean that Obama's been connected to the deep state all along, and that's how he became president? Now, you remember how he became president? Remember what happened? Harry Reid brought him into the fold. He just got elected to the Senate. They didn't like Hillary, and boom. I know, that's something. I don't think anyone can just go out and get a job with U.S. aid, especially a fancy job like that. So yeah, I mean, isn't it something? Small world. Very small world. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And I would say, yes, it's a deep state company. And yes, Obama's mother was deep state, CIA type. CIA, NSA, whatever, one of those 3-letter agencies. It is, yeah. So this idea that Obama is just some kid from Hawaii, it's hard to even say that with a straight face, and became president. It's a joke. He was chosen to be president from a young age, at least when he was in his first 4 years of college, because Obama, when he was in his first 4 years of college, he traveled to Pakistan and had a private meeting with the Prime Minister of Pakistan when he was in college. Who the heck has that kind of contact? Somebody whose mother is deep state, I would imagine. Well, whatever money the Trumps have made, Laura Kay, that's legal money. Okay, that's legal money. You know? It's not from some government front group where they're stealing money. President Trump lost money, not just by donating a salary, but all the business deals he missed out on, and he had to give up the television show, The Apprentice. You know, he made $250 million off The Apprentice. Trump made his money the old-fashioned way. He earned it. Right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes talk. I live stream every day. During the week, I'm live in the mornings, and I'm on the radio. I take live calls on my streams. Unlike now. Now I'm just sitting on the back porch enjoying the great Florida weather. But, yeah, it's great. Now, Jasmine Crockett, who's just a despicable, terrible person, and the resident racist, anti-white racist of the Congress, she was on CNN last night.
That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel away and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people.
The mediocre white boys? Is that a racial slur? She's calling people mediocre white boys? That sounds like a racial slur to me, doesn't it to you?
Is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much.
Oh, please, Jasmine. Mediocre white boys? And white tears? That's some hardcore racism coming out of Jasmine Crockett. I mean, if you changed the skin color on that and did the shoe on the other foot, oh my goodness, CNN would be all over you. She is a hardcore. That's critical race theory right there, man. That's hardcore racism, no doubt about it. That's as hardcore racist as it gets. Oh my goodness. You know, and what's crazy, you know, and this is so true, that hardcore racists like Jasmine Crockett don't even realize they're racist. She's a terrible person. She's really terrible, yeah. Yeah, she doesn't even know she's racist. She feels totally justified in those anger feelings she has for no reason at all, you know. Now, you know, Cynthia Nixon, she's the weirdo actress from Sex and the City. I usually don't spend too much time playing clips from actors and actresses, because most of them are pretty stupid, right? But she said something crazy, talking to a crowd of lunatics. Listen.
Most importantly, I am here today as the mother of a proud trans man. I am here today as the aunt of a proud trans man. My best friend's kid is trans. And my kid's best friend is trans. My wife and I, our lives are filled with the most amazing, beautiful, brave, trans people, young and old, but especially young. My trans kid had his top surgery at NYU a number of years ago.
Okay, so Cynthia Nixon, her son is trans, her sister's kids are trans, every kid that her and her wife know are trans. What are the odds of that? Okay? How can every kid in her family and in her circle be trans? How's that even... I'm sure they are, but what are the odds of that? And how did that happen? I mean, is it possible that they pushed that on these kids? Let's say people are born that way, just for the discussion, okay? I'm not saying that they are, but for the discussion, let's just say people can be born that way. Okay, what are the odds that your kid, your nieces and nephews, and every kid that you know is trans? How is that even possible? What are the odds of that? I think somebody needs to look into Cynthia Nixon and her family and find out what the heck's going on there, because something is off, okay? Something is not right there. There's just something that's not right with that. What exactly it is, I don't know. Now, here's Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, and she's sitting there with Maxine Waters, and they're having freakouts over U.S. aid and Elon Musk.
In the building behind me, Elon Musk is seizing power from the American people. We are here to fight back.
Okay, is this another insurrection? Because President Trump has shut all these people out of the USAID office. He's turned control of it over to Secretary of State Marco Rubio at the State Department. Sounds like Elizabeth Warren, Maxine Waters, Ilhan Omar, and Jamie Raskin and the rest are interrupting government business at USAID. And they've told us that when you interrupt government business, you are an insurrectionist. So are they insurrectionists? But on top of that, it really shows you that this is where all the corruption is coming from, okay? Because they're not getting their checks. You know, she's another one who is worth millions of dollars, Elizabeth Warren. Maxine Waters worth millions of dollars. All these people are rich many times over. They're lifelong government workers, and they're in a panic over U.S. aid being shut down because that's how they and all their friends are making their money, and their donors and everyone else. And these Congress people, you know, they've taken a lot of money from donors with the promise of, it's a money laundering operation, right? A donor gives you the maximum amount they can give you under the law, and then you give it back to them many times over through government grants and fundings and projects like USAID. So all these House members have promised all these, and Senate, and Pocahontas' case, all these Congress people have promised all these donors all this money, and they can't deliver because Elon Musk has shut down Doge, or exposed Doge, and President Trump shut it down. And some of the Doge stuff, I mean, this is Elon Musk, he dropped this earlier today. You know, the BBC is owned by the government in England, right? Any of you in the UK? The BBC is a government-owned radio, television, and online media operation in the UK, right? Do you know USAID is funding the BBC? What the hell is that all about? Why are we funding the BBC? I mean, you know, the amount of money that they're spending and that they're wasting, that's going to all these things, is just beyond imagination. And these Democrats, there's been a common theme that I've been talking about a lot. One of the senators in the Kash Patel hearing, one of the Republican senators, he was talking about the Democrats that were questioning Kash Patel, and he says the Democrats have no understanding that the country has changed. And for them to go out in front of the USAID office like this, Elizabeth Warren, Raskin, Ilhan Omar, Maxine Waters and the crew, and they have no idea how they look, that they've been exposed, where the country is. See, to them, that's their money. They don't understand. They're all in government to steal money from the government through USAID. And they think everybody's in on the scam. They don't even realize that people are like, well, wait a minute, what's all this? You know, they don't even realize it. Now, this is, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk, all right? And make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel. You'll love my content, I promise you. Now this is Democrat, Obama friend, CNN pundit Van Jones talking about our great President Donald Trump. And he's interviewed, I forgot this guy's name. He's one of the pundits on CNN, but he's talking to him on, I guess, his podcast or something. And Van Jones is responding to an idiotic question that the guy asks him about President Trump.
How the hell did Donald Trump figure out the mainstream media is the fringe and the fringe is now the mainstream? How the hell did...
Oh, hold on, I hit the wrong button here. Why did I lose? Let me reboot it. Hold on. Did I hit? I got to restart it. Hold on, guys. Let me pull it up again. This is crazy. Here it is. Why isn't it playing now? Okay, let me try this. Let me reboot here because this is good.
Doge.
Okay. So I got audio, but did they take? Maybe they muted that. Maybe the original poster muted that because it's too revealing. Okay, here we go.
How the hell did Donald Trump figure out the mainstream media is the fringe and the fringe is now the mainstream? How the hell did Donald Trump figure out? I mean, Joe Rogan is obvious, right? Like, we knew the guy had a big audience. It's not like we were, like, stunned. But, like, how the hell
Van Jones is going to come in here in a moment.
78-year-old guy who doesn't even have a computer and still, like, writes handwritten notes, how did he become the guy who cracked the code on, to your point, running a cultural, I don't even want to say campaign, running
it was a movement. Look,
heading a cultural movement versus a campaign.
Every one of your people knows Elon. Listen. So everybody keeps, I mean, the problem is you have a framework in your mind that, how can Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump, let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all critics. You know why we know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House.
Totally agree.
Or the popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime, and we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary.
You're totally right.
Yeah, I mean, that Van Jones, everything he said, I know, isn't that crazy that's Van Jones? Everything Van Jones said about President Trump is right.
SpaceX confirms.
Hold on a second.
That no issues are being tracked.
Wait a minute. Is SpaceX getting ready to launch?
No issues on the rocket, that is. Spacecraft is also healthy. Weather remains clear for launch conditions.
Okay, now I saw a SpaceX launch this morning, and it says here that SpaceX is going to launch in 3 minutes 45 seconds. Let me take a look at the clouds and see if I can get a view, okay? We got 3.5 minutes. Let me take a look. I'm going to get some shoes on, and I'm going to see if I can take you guys on the roof, and maybe we can catch the launch. I can't promise. I've got 3 minutes, so hold on. Just getting some shoes on, guys. SpaceX is launching in 3 minutes. Okay, hold on. We've got 2.5 minutes. Hold. I can't promise we're going to be able to see it. Let me get the ladder and we'll get on the roof. Hold on. This is my space. I keep this ladder out here just for the SpaceX launches. Now, like I said, I can't promise we'll be able to see it. We've got 90 seconds. We've got 90 seconds. So when I can't, I'm watching on my laptop. So let me see, let me. Now, like I said, I can't promise we're gonna see it. We got T-minus 1 minute until launch of a Falcon 9. All right, let's go. Well, I'm not going to take my laptop. Let's see. When we have 30 seconds, I'm going to give you the T-minus 30 seconds, and then can you guys count backwards, and then we'll get an idea. Okay, 40. Now, I can't promise we're going to see it. It depends on the cloud cover between here and the Cape. I got a good view this morning. Okay, 30 seconds until launch. So start counting. T-minus 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. This is just an estimate. Okay, we're on the roof of my house. I lost track. Okay, does anyone have the countdown? It's kind of clear. Okay. Is anyone looking at the launch online by chance? We're on the roof of my house. Now again, it depends on, I don't see many clouds around here, but it depends on how much cloud cover. Okay, just took off? Okay. It depends on the cloud cover between here and the Cape. I got a good view this morning and I wasn't even expecting it. So, let me go higher on the roof. I'm due south of the Cape, but like I said, there could be some clouds between here and there, and we might not see anything. But that's the second rocket that Elon Musk has launched today. Think about it. The second rocket that Elon has launched today, and Jamie Raskin and Elizabeth Warren and all these people are out there talking about him not having security clearance and that he's an idiot and all these things. They're out of their freaking minds. Yep, there it is. See it? That's it. Right there. That's the Falcon 9 from the roof of my house. There it is. It's better at night because you get the flames. There it is. Isn't that something? That's life in Florida, man. That is life in Florida. Boom. See it? See the fire? Boom. Look at it go. Look at it go. Now you see what just happened there? They had a separation. The one on the right is going to space, and the one on the left is the return rocket. It's going to land. See it? Now what you're seeing now, the one, it's in space now. Now what you're seeing now, that right there, hold on. I can still see it going into space a little bit. There's the one going into outer space. Okay, that's the Falcon 9 heading into space. Yeah, there's the Falcon 9. And then over here is the one returning. We'll get to that in a second. There's the Falcon 9 right there. I do this all the freaking time. See it? Okay, you can still see it. I mean, it's going like a rocket ship. That's the Falcon 9. That is so freaking amazing, isn't it? Wow. I can still see it with my eye. I can't find it in the can. There he is. I can still see it. It's heading like northeast. Boom, she's still going. I can still see it. Yeah, it's Kennedy Space Center. We call it, sometimes we call it Cape Canaveral. It's Kennedy Space Center is the official Cape Kennedy. But I'm trying to get it right now. I can still see it. It is going like a bat out of hell. I can still see it. Now I did lose sight of the return rocket when we were looking at this one. I can still see it with my eyes. I'm barely, but I can still see it. Wow. That is amazing. The sky's perfect for it tonight. Okay, now the return rocket I lost sight of. Okay, it is in outer space now. Let me see if I can find the return rocket, but I lost that one. It could not have landed already. How did I miss it? But we may have missed the return. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. See that? That's the rocket returning. Right there. That's the rocket landing. See it? The engines just came on. That's one of my palm trees you're looking at. That's the rocket returning. Look at that. Is that amazing? Oh. Rockets just went out. Okay, it went below the tree line. That was amazing. So you got to see it. Got to see the return rocket. Isn't that super cool? Yeah, it went below the tree lines now. And you can see the return rocket is not that far away from when it went straight up, you can see. I know. Is that not amazing? Is that wild? That's life in Florida. And I want you to think about it, guys. I'll just sit down on the roof before I go down. That is the second rocket that I've seen go into outer space today from Florida that Elon Musk sent up. So a guy who's done that twice today, I want you to think about it. You guys ever read The Right Stuff? Not just watch the movie, read the book. Go get the book, The Right Stuff. It's a great book. Elon Musk sent 2 spaceships into space from Florida today, and I saw them both take off and go into outer space. And Jamie Raskin and Elizabeth Warren and Ilhan Omar. AOC said he's the most unintelligent billionaire she knows. Really? Who the hell does she know who's sending ships into space twice in a day? Isn't that something? That never gets old. I have been watching spaceships take off from Florida since I was a kid. I was talking about this morning, but when I first moved to Florida, I was in 5th grade. So that was like, I don't know, 81, 82. And they would take us out of school. I bet this happened with my wife too. They would take us out of class, the whole school, and we would go like out in the field at the school and we'd watch the shuttles take off. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's the first bud. That's who we have on our side. They got AOC and Jamie Raskin and Pocahontas. Oh yeah, I hope I live to see it. I hope I live to see it. And I'm glad that the lighting is perfect because you got to see the return. When it's dark, when it's completely dark, you really, it's really lights up the sky. Yeah. I did not know that was going up tonight. Just coincidentally, when I was live streaming, I was just checking on X, a story that I was going to talk to you about, and I saw that somebody was talking about the SpaceX launch, and we caught it just in time. What luck. Twice in a day. Falcon 9 is filled with satellites, man. Filled with satellites. That's... Yeah, I'm going to go and watch that too, but what a day. Isn't that amazing? Oh my goodness. Here. I put the ladder a little too far away. If I fall, we'll go viral, I'm sure. Okay. This is my SpaceX ladder. I keep this ladder out here I keep it right here because anytime I see that there's a rocket launching, I go and put the ladder up and climb up on the roof and watch the launch. I can see it from the driveway too, but if I get up on the roof above the tree line, I get a little bit better view sometimes. But the thing about those, the SpaceX launches, they, because they're launching satellites that are going to different orbits, they go in different directions. Like the rocket this morning, this one, okay, like this is Florida, okay? So this is the up. I'm down here, but up here is where it takes off. This one kind of went like this is the ocean, kind of went this way. The one today went this way, like right down over like where I live. And it was at night. It was dark, 5:15 in the morning, so there was flames. So they go different directions. But my house is due south of Cape Kennedy's launch pads. So whenever there's a launch, if I just stand in the middle of my roof like I was just doing, depending on which launch pad it takes off of at Cape Kennedy, you know, it's either here or here or here, a little bit this way. You know, sometimes it's off to the left, sometimes it's off to the right. They got a lot of launch pads, but it's fun to watch. Well, listen, if you're new to my channel, you never know what you're going to see, right? Oh, my goodness. Wow. President Trump kicking butt today, and we got to watch a rocket go up, sent by the first bud. I mean, I want you to think about it. Let me play this again. Hold on. Let me pull up these idiot Democrats. Elon Musk just did that, right? And these Democrats, let me see here. Let me pull up that Elizabeth Warren thing again. Were you guys impressed by that? I'm impressed by that. Two in a day? Okay. So here is Elizabeth Warren talking about the man who just did that for the second time today.
In the building behind me, Elon Musk is seizing power from the American people. We are here to fight back.
Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, give me a freaking break. Oh, that's great. These people are out of their freaking minds. Now, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, all right? And if you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you guys on the next stream, all right? Take care.